In Brasilia, the capital city of Brazil, there is a stadium that cost $550 million to build. It hosted 4 matches at the 2014 World Cup. Heads of state sat in its VIP boxes. 70,000 people filled its seats. Today, it is a parking lot for buses. Not metaphorically, literally, the pitch where World Cup football was played is now used to store the city's municipal bus fleet. That stadium didn't fall into disrepair by accident. It was built in a city that had no professional football team. Everyone knew that before the first brick was laid. They built it anyway. And that stadium is not the worst example. Brazil spent $15 billion hosting the 2014 World Cup. 12 stadiums, 32 matches, 1 month of football. And when it was over, the mayor of Rio de Janeiro said, and these are his exact words, "Brazilians have not benefited from the tournament. There has been no legacy for them." That was the mayor of the host city, saying that, out loud. This is the story of how a country spent $15 billion and ended up with nothing, not even a memory worth keeping. Brazil didn't need to host the World Cup. In 2007, when FIFA awarded the tournament to Brazil, the country was riding one of the greatest economic booms in its history. The economy was growing at 6% a year. Poverty rates were falling. A new middle class was emerging for the first time in generations. The government had money, and the people had hope. FIFA came to Brazil with a promise. Host the World Cup, they said, and the world will come to you. Infrastructure will be built. Tourism will explode. Jobs will be created. The tournament will pay for itself, and then some. Brazil's government believed them. What FIFA didn't say, what they never say, is that no World Cup in history has ever delivered a net economic benefit to its host country. Not one. The stadiums cost more than projected, the tourists spend less than forecast, and when the cameras leave, the bills stay behind. But in 2007, Brazil said yes. The original budget was $1.1 billion, just for the stadiums. Manageable, reasonable even. By the time construction was finished, that number had become $4.2 billion, nearly 4 times the original estimate. And nobody, not FIFA, not the Brazilian government, not the construction companies, nobody was surprised, because that was always how it was going to go. FIFA had one condition that made everything worse. Brazil already had functioning stadiums in São Paulo, Rio, and Belo Horizonte, cities with massive football cultures and existing infrastructure. FIFA said those weren't good enough. They needed new stadiums, or heavily renovated ones, built to FIFA's exact specifications. So Brazil built in cities that had no business hosting World Cup football. Manaus, a city of 2 million people deep in the Amazon rainforest. No first division football club. Temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius, with humidity so thick players could barely breathe. Brazil built the Arena Amazonia there anyway. Cost $300 million. It hosted 4 group stage matches. Then it sat empty. Today, it costs $250,000 a month just to maintain. The city can't afford it and can't get rid of it. Cuiabá, another city with no top-flight football. The Arena Pantanal cost $215 million. After the World Cup, it became a homeless shelter. That is not a metaphor. People were living inside it. Natal. The Arena das Dunas cost $400 million. It started hosting weddings and children's birthday parties to generate enough revenue to cover its running costs. And then there was Brasilia, the Mané Garrincha Stadium. $550 million. No professional team, no viable tenant, now a bus depot. Across all 12 venues, independent investigators estimated that corruption accounted for between 30% and 40% of the total construction costs. Contractors overbilling, officials taking cuts, money disappearing into accounts that had nothing to do with football. The Brazilian people were not unaware of this. They were watching it happen in real time. In June 2013, a full year before the World Cup began, Brazil erupted. It started over a bus fare increase of 20 cents. In São Paulo, transit authorities raised the price of a bus ticket. Students took to the streets. Within days, the protests had nothing to do with bus fares anymore. Millions of people poured into the streets across every major Brazilian city. They carried signs that read, "FIFA, go home." They chanted that hospitals and schools mattered more than stadiums. They asked why a country where 16 million people still lived in poverty was spending billions to entertain foreign tourists for 1 month. The government responded with tear gas and rubber bullets. By the time the World Cup actually began in June 2014, the protests had quieted, not because the anger had gone away, but because the world's cameras had arrived and the government had made it clear that demonstrations would not be tolerated during the tournament. The show had to go on. And for a few weeks, it did.
The 2014 World Cup, on the surface, was a success. The matches were played, the crowds came, the football was good. Germany beat Argentina in the final. FIFA collected its broadcast rights fees and left Brazil with a surplus in its own accounts. Brazil got the bill. But none of that is what anyone remembers about Brazil 2014. What everyone remembers happened on the 8th of July 2014, in Belo Horizonte, in a stadium called the Estádio Mineiro. Brazil versus Germany, a World Cup semi-final on home soil. To understand what happened that night, you have to understand what football means in Brazil. This is not a country where football is a sport. It is a religion. Brazil has won the World Cup 5 times, more than any other nation on earth. The game is woven into the national identity in a way that has no equivalent anywhere else. To be Brazilian is, in some fundamental way, to believe that Brazil will always find a way to win. The 2014 tournament was supposed to be the coronation of that belief. Brazil hosting, Brazil winning, on home soil. It was supposed to be the moment that justified everything. The $15 billion, the protests, the corruption, all of it redeemed by a Brazilian player lifting the trophy in Brazil. It did not go that way. The match started badly and became catastrophic. Germany scored in the 11th minute, then again in the 23rd, then again in the 24th, then again in the 26th, then again in the 29th. 5 goals in 18 minutes. The crowd of 58,000 Brazilian supporters went completely silent. Not the silence of tension, the silence of people who cannot process what they are seeing. Cameras caught fans weeping openly. A child sitting next to his father, both staring at the pitch with expressions that had moved past grief into shock. By half-time, Germany had scored 5 goals.
The final score was Germany 7, Brazil 1. The heaviest defeat Brazil has ever suffered, in any competition, in their entire history. And it happened at home. During the tournament, their government spent $15 billion to host. The players collapsed on the pitch at the final whistle. Some wept, some sat in the grass and stared. The crowd filed out in silence. The tournament ended. Germany won the final. The cameras left. And Brazil was left alone with what remained. The Arena Amazonia in Manaus kept hemorrhaging $250,000 a month. The Arena Pantanal in Cuiabá became a shelter. The roof began leaking within 2 years. The Mané Garrincha in Brasilia became a bus depot. The Arena das Dunas in Natal hosted weddings. Couples standing on a pitch built for World Cup football, surrounded by empty seats. FIFA's profit from the 2014 World Cup was $2.6 billion. Brazil got the protests, the debt, the 7-1. and 12 stadiums that nobody needed. What Brazil received was a decade of debt, a collection of decaying structures in cities that never wanted them, and the most humiliating 90 minutes in the history of their national sport. All of it live, on home soil, in front of the world. That is what $15 billion bought. If you want to see what happens when a corporation bets its entire future on a lie and loses everything, the next episode is already waiting for you.